Hi students, good morning. Let us continue with the further concepts of integrity constraint. In the last class, we have discussed about the various key concepts. We have discussed about the super key, then we have come across the concept of candidate key, and finally, we have concluded with the concept of primary key. So now let us go further to discuss about the integrity constraints. Now let us check. Now let us check this thing. Wait a second. So let us see that what is basically integrity constraint. Integrity constraint in a relational database. It ensures that the accuracy, consistency, and reliability of the data stored in the tables. Basically, constraint means rules. So, what are the rules we will be applying so that it helps to maintain the integrity in the database? So, that is the most important topic of discussion today. Okay. So, let us go by this. Just a sec, please allow me to fix it up. My God. Yes. Sorry for the interruption. So let us come to this different constraint. So today's discussion is basically this much we'll be discussing. Null concept, unique primary key, check, and then after we'll go for the formal definition of integrity constraint. So two types of constraint we can see. One is entity integrity constraint and another one is referential integrity constraint. So directly before discussing the definition wise, let us go by the prerequisite discussion. So first and foremost thing we need to understand what is null. I think that day, in the last day when we have discussed about the primary key, we have discussed that primary key does not accept null values. So basically we have to look a bit deeper what is a null, where we will apply the null value. So null is always representing some inapplicable or unknown value case. See, for example, if I don't know the value of say name, then name of a student, but I know the roll number. I at that point of time I'm not sure about the name. So what can I do? I will put in the place null. But we cannot put a blank space like this, because to the system it is assumed by the system that okay, the name is blank, but basically that is not a logical concept, logical way of thinking, na? So blank is not, we cannot allow blank space as a null value. Null is not a blank space. Null is you have to place a value null, null. Yeah. And similarly, if you put 0, say if I put sal is 0 and sal is null, both are different. When sal is 0, that means the amount of the salary is 0. It's a value. 0 is a value. But when I put null, that means I mean to say the salary component of one employee is null. That means for that company, that employee, the salary is not applicable. We can say, for example, the owner of the company. We are not giving the value of any particular value for the sal. We may write null. That means we want to imply that for that owner of the company, salary part is null. So null means a value which is replaced, which is used to uh, imply the value which is not applicable, or at that point of time it is not known. If it is known later, so at any point of time we can update the value. So this was about null. So here you can see that phone number, commission, they can may have a null value. Phone number at that point of time, if you don't know the phone number, you can easily write null, but you cannot write 1, 2, 3, 4 like that. Any value or zero you cannot write. Null means it is not known for that time. So for that time point of time, we can write null. Similarly, commission. If the person is getting not able to get any commission, it is not applicable for him or her, we can put null value. But if at all the person did not get any commission, we can put 0. But I am again saying, in case of integer, 0 is basically not null. 0 is having a value 0. Okay, and null means null is a separate value we are using to, when we either we don't know the value for the unknown case, or in that case it is not applicable, as I have informed like this. So this is about null. Now there is one constant we call unique. We all understand unique means the data values will not be repeated. No redundancy. Say product name. For any store, no two product will have the same name. So product name will be unique in nature. So no duplicate, no redundancy. All different names. In this case, in this unique constraint, one point has to be noted, that you can use null value in this case. That means in product name, if I give a rule that it must be unique, it's okay. Unique name you have to give. You cannot give redundant repeated names. But if you are not sure about the product name at that point of time when we are inserting the product detail, you may use null value. Later on, when you are sure about the product name, you are giving a fancy name of the product. So you want to take some time. But your product ID is okay. So you can insert you are allowed to insert it with the null values. So later on, when you will be aware of this, you will be thinking, yeah, this should be the right product name for my product. So at any point of time, you can replace it and update that null value with a fancy name, what you want to give, appropriate name basically. So this is about unique and null concept. So now again we are revisiting in the very shortly that what is the definition of primary goes. It goes like this. It's an attribute or a set of attributes which is unique as well as not null in nature. And definitely the primary key is capable of identifying each tuple uniquely. Tuple means, you all know, we are talking about relational database. So each and every row of a table is called tuple. That means for an employee table, a tuple means an employee, right? So we have checked. Let me show you this table. Wait a second. This table, right? So here you can see employee table and department table. Students, can you say that which table we should create first? Yes, we should create first the department table. Why? Because if you think very logically, first the department will come into existence, then only employee can join there. So uh, department table is the first table, so we call it a primary table, right? Department table is the parent table, right? So in this table, if you look at these attributes, department ID and department name, obviously you will agree with me that department ID is a primary key. That means all the values are unique and all the values are not null. Then in no case we are writing a null value over here. And in this case, D name is unique. You see, the D name are all in. No two department names should have the same name, right? So in this case, it is unique. So I think you have understood where we can say it is a primary key and where we can say unique. So I think it would not be any trouble for you. This is primary key, right? And this is definitely, it must be unique. Okay. And in primary key, if I think, it is unique as well as it is not null. So I think you got it. Similarly, if I talk about the employee table is a child table. It has to be created after the creation of department. As you know, any department should exist first, then only the employee can join there, right? So in this case, employee ID is the primary key. We can write it very clearly. This is the primary key. So all the values are unique as well as they are not null. We are not writing any null value for there for unknown. There is nothing you cannot do. You cannot think about any unknown case, because you see this very carefully. If primary key is having, because you see, primary key is for what? Uniquely identifying each tuple. So the values must be unique. It's okay. But if I want to place a null value, tell me students, if I am able to insert a null value, can be can we distinguish two tuples uniquely? The answer is no, because more than one employee ID will be null. So how can you distinguish two table? Obviously not, na? So you must be understanding that primary key will definitely be unique as well as not null, right? Okay. So let us remove all these. So you understood all this. Now the thing, let me quickly go to that part, what we were discussing, that is entity integrity. Now we are talking about entity integrity. So for understanding this constraint, we need to understand the concept of primary key and null values. So both the concepts we have discussed. Now let us focus on the formal definition of entity integrity constraint. So this rule says that the primary key of a table must not contain null values. So this is what just now I have explained. So I think after this explanation, it is clear to you. Later on we can revisit, but for now I think it is clear to you. Next. So next integrity constraint which we want to discuss is referential integrity constraint. Now to understand this, we need to know some other type of key which we have not discussed in the previous lecture. Okay. So that is, you can very well clearly see a new key we have written here. What is it? It is foreign key. So when we are seeing this foreign key and check these two relationship between these two table, you can very well say that this department number of employee table is pointing to, that means referencing to the department ID of department table. In this case, there is nothing. Nothing means basically there was null. It may happen. One employee has joined the company, but the company that point of time, they are not sure that this employee in which department it will belong. So at that point of time, in department case, we can write null. At that point of time, it is not sure. So that point, that is unknown. So we can put it null. But what we cannot put it here, we cannot put it here 40. Can we put 40 students? Can we put 40 students? Definitely not, because 40 department number is not present in department table. It is very logical. An employee cannot join such a table which is not existing. Yes or no? Yes, right. So we cannot do this. But we can easily do this. At this point of time, we don't know the value. So we can put null. And we have checked null value. Where should we give? We should apply either for unknown value or inapplicable case. So in this case, it is a case of unknown. At that point of it is not decided. Okay. So here it is not blank. I'm again saying we cannot put blank. Blank is also having a meaning to the system. It is also having an ASCII value. So blank is blank, but blank is not null. Okay. So we are putting null. Now, for this 30 also, it is absolutely correct. It is referencing to some tuple, existing tuple. Yes or no? Yes. So, here the case is this, we can check, we can tell the department number in employee table is a foreign key. That means we comment that the attribute in particular of a table attribute of a table which references the primary key. I have said that it is a primary key of department table. We have already discussed about that. And you see, the department number of employee table is referencing to a primary key of another table. So we can say department number of employee table is the foreign key where in employee table. But again, I'm saying one thing, it foreign key does not imply that it must refer to some other table's primary key. Not necessarily. It may refer to itself also. In some other future classes, I will give that kind of example, right? For now, you think that you remember that an attribute of a particular table which references to the primary key of another table or self. It may be self-referential also. It's called foreign key. And if you check the foreign key characteristics, I think everybody will agree that that foreign key, the values must point to the same domain as the primary key of the other table. The values must be present in the other table, obviously. An employees department has to be that department which are existing. So domain will be same, the values will be same. Domain means a set of permissible values. So as I have discussed that I cannot put 40 over here. I cannot put 40 over here. It is not absolutely wrong. Kyuki it is not having any reference. So that is a wrong thing. So we cannot do this. Right? But this is correct and this is correct. And another point, foreign key accepts null value. Foreign key accepts null value. So later on, when the employee will be posted in a particular department, and that point of time this null value will be removed, and it can have any value from where, either 10 or 20 or 30. Say we are placing in 20 department, so again it is referencing to an existing tuple. This is the rule. So I think you have understood. Now let us go with the formal definition of referential integrity constraint. Let's check. The constraints. Oh, yes. The constraint states, which constraint? The referential integrity constraint. It states a tuple in one relation that refers to another relation must refer to an existing tuple in that relation. So many you can find, oh, this relation, that relation, all together mixed up. Let us simplify it. Okay, let us simplify it. Wait. So what do we say? Constance says the tuple in one relation. Oh, sorry. A tuple in one relation. So this tuple. Which tuple? Na E1. In one relation matlab, let us see, it is employee. That refers to another relation. Which relation it is referencing? It is DPT. Must refer to an existing tuple. Yeah, definitely. We have just discussed about this. That is, employee ID E1, this tuple, the whole tuple, the row, is referencing to an existing column only. Yes, that has to be. That has to be. So that is what it is saying. The referential integrity constraint is saying the constraint states a tuple in one relation. Here you can think about the employee relation will refer to the another relation. So employee relation is referencing to a tuple of an employee relation is referencing to a tuple of department relation. Definitely, which tuple? Which is existing. Yes, em- employee this employee E1 must work in such a department which is actually existing, isn't it? If it is not existing, how can it refer? How can it basically join? So this is much the concept is highly logical. Another way we can say there is there should not exist any unmatched foreign key. That is also one thing. Just all of you, please write it down. This referential integrity constraint says there should no unmatched foreign key. So what I said, there should be no unmatched foreign key. If you simplify this formal definition, you can go by this also. Foreign key. Yeah, foreign key values must be having some matches with the parent table. So this is all about the referential integrity constraints. So as a whole, we have discussed the rules and regulation so that we follow it. And why we follow it? We follow it for what? We follow it so that the accuracy, consistency, and reliability of the data remains in the database. So for now, it is over. Please check my referential integrity constraint video. That there is a thorough video already. I have uploaded it. So I'll share the link with you also. So you will check for detailed discussion. So for today, we are over with this. So students, let us stop here. Thank you so much for listening to me. Have a good day. Bye.